welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and in today's video I'm filming probably one of the biggest book hauls I've filmed in a very long time. So I'm trying to do more seasonal book hauls, so this is my spring book haul. I haven't done one since the end of 2020 and these are the 20+ books I have acquired since then. So there's no order to these. I would try to remember when I bought these, but honestly I can't remember when. Everything is blurring into like one. It's been a very long past few months. But a few of these have been sent to me from publishers, so I will let you guys know when they are gifted proofs compared to books that I have bought myself. So before we get cracking on the video, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you will never miss an upload from me. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BookBellReads, where I post lots about the books that I'm reading, and it's kind of like an extension of my channel on my social media channel, so you can follow me there. Okay, so I think we may as well just get started because we are going to be here forever otherwise. So one of the first books that I acquired over the past few months has been Monstrous Heart, and this is by Claire McKenna. So this is a fantasy debut and has one of the most gorgeous covers I think I've ever seen. This is about a woman with magical powers whose kind of family legacy has been to keep the lighthouse burning in this small town. And basically she has a neighbour who everyone's whispering different things about, saying he killed his wife, but she can't seem to let this stranger out of her mind, and she's very intrigued by him. This honestly sounds like an amazing read. I haven't heard a lot about this, so do let me know if you've read this and what you thought. Goodreads seem to have very mixed reviews about this book, so I do want to read this and form my own opinion on this, but do let me know if you've read this. I think it sounds like a great fantasy book, and to be honest, this cover is just one of the most stunning covers I've seen in a while. So the next book is Infinity Reaper by Adam Silvera. This is the second book in the Infinity Cycle series, which the first book was Infinity Sun. So this is basically like a Harry Potter-esque fantasy novel. I'm pretty sure this is described as like Pokemon meets Harry Potter, which sounds amazing. I've not yet read Infinity Sun, but I do really want to read that soon, as I think it has all those amazing fantasy elements that I think I'll love. I do have a soft spot for urban fantasy, so I will let you guys know when I do manage to get around to reading the series, but do let me know down in the comments if you have read Infinity Sun or Infinity Reaper, and it would be great to hear your thoughts. So the next book was kindly sent to me as part of Book Retreat's subscription box. So it is The Switch by Beth O'Leary, and this was part of their relaxation box. Basically you get a load of beautifully relaxing treats and a book, and The Switch was the book inside my box, and honestly I couldn't be happier about that. I've been meaning to read The Switch for so long, so I'm very delighted that this was in the box, so thank you to Book Retreat for kindly sending me that one. The Switch is basically about two people, an older woman and a younger woman, and basically they do like a life switch where the older woman wants to start dating again and the younger woman just wants a break from city life. So this sounds like a really fun, lovely read. I've heard like nothing but amazing things about this book and Beth O'Leary. I haven't yet read her first book, which is The Flat Share, but I've just heard incredible things, so I feel like I should probably read The Flat Share and then read The Switch. So next up is a finished copy that I recently got sent from Pan Macmillan, and it is Sister Song by Lucy Holland. So Sister Song is a retelling of an ancient like English folk song, I believe. This is about three siblings who possess magic. They basically get inherited this kingdom that I believe it's just after the Romans have left. It's kind of based around like Saxon myth and everything like that. This sounds awesome. It's full of magic, treachery, betrayal. It's fantasy. What more do I need to say about this? But Sister Song has definitely been up there on my kind of books that I'm looking out for this year, mainly because I do really want to read more like myths and retellings, and this just sounds like the perfect blend of all of that. So this is out now, I believe, when this video goes live, so I will leave a link to where you can pick this up in the description bar below. The next book was kindly sent to me from Vintage Books, and it is Acts of Desperation by Megan Nolan. So I don't know a lot about what this book is about. The cover is so cool, like just look at that. I'm obsessed. I think this book is a kind of contemporary fiction novel about a woman who is desperate for the love of this man who she kind of puts on a pedestal and basically sees her own self-worth as love, you know, whether this man can love her or not. One of the quotes on the back I think describes it perfectly, where they say, "A blistering anti-romance about the seductive destruction of trying to find self-worth in the gaze of another." This sounds awesome. This sounds exactly like the kind of blistering, very kind of raw books I like to read about women, and I just think this is going to be great, to be honest. I think this is out now, so thank you very much to Vintage for sending me this one. This is Megan Nolan's first novel, so it is a debut, and I'm really intrigued by this one. The next book is honestly one of my most anticipated releases of this year. It is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. This is a fantasy book that is basically based around Hungarian mythology and Jewish mythology, I believe. So this basically sounds incredible, and I've not read any Jewish mythology before, so this sounds amazing. This is also a debut, so I'm really intrigued to see what the author's writing style is like. Basically anything to do with mythology and fairy tales, sign me up. This sounds amazing. It is out in June, so you do have a little while to wait, but I will let you guys know my thoughts, hopefully in a reading vlog very, very soon, about how I found this book. The next book was kindly sent to me from Avon Books, and it is The Lucky Escape by Laura Jane Williams. So I'm a huge fan of Laura Jane Williams. She is the author of Our Stop, and also an amazing journalist. Like, I just love all of the words that she's written, basically. So The Lucky Escape is basically about a woman who is going off on her honeymoon and basically brings a man who isn't her husband. So it sounds absolutely great. This is like perfect summer reading right here, and honestly I am prepared to just spend a lovely afternoon reading this book. I am in dire need of some like light romantic fiction, so I think this sounds awesome. This is also publishing in June. I don't know what it is with all the proofs that are publishing in June, but I'm really feeling confident that I'm going to love this one. If you haven't yet read any Laura Jane Williams, I really would recommend it. She is hilarious and writes the most beautiful romances. So the next book is another one of my most highly anticipated books coming out in 2021. We really have been spoiled by the books coming out this year. Like, there's just some incredible ones. This is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. So this is basically about a girl who lives in a village where there is a ceremony where they basically have to check the colour of your blood. If it runs red, it means you are human, you're safe. If it runs gold, it means that you are basically a demon, like you've been chosen by demons. So our main character, her blood of course runs gold, and she is basically cast off with this group of people who all have this gold blood, and they basically become these like fierce warriors, which I think sounds incredible. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book. It's getting some amazing reviews, so I really need to read this one soon. This is very high up my TBR pile because it just sounds awesome. I'm loving all the really creative fantasy that's coming out in 2021. As a fantasy fan, I can't get enough of it. So do let me know if you've read The Gilded Ones and what your thoughts were. Okay, so the next two books are the same book, but hear me out. Basically, a certain book was published in February, and it was one of probably my most anticipated book of 2021. So I had to get two versions of it. It is of course A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. So this is just the usual standard edition. And honestly, I got this because I wanted all my A Court, Thorns and Roses books by Sarah J Maas to match. I also had to get the tour edition because I attended the digital event that Sarah J Maas did, so I had to get two copies. I mean, I didn't have to get two copies, but I kind of did, you know what I mean? I just thought if I just got this version, which I did originally, I just thought that it wouldn't match any of my other books. And honestly, like, just as it is, like, it's quite a naked, simple book. I just wanted the proper jacket just to match my other ones, so I had to do it. I'm not going to explain too much about what this book is. I did a whole reading vlog and review. I will leave that in the description bar as well as the card somewhere here so you can check it out. Do let me know if you've read A Court of Silver Flames and what you thought about it. No spoilers, of course, but it might be my favourite Sarah J Maas book ever. ever. And in a similar vein, I mentioned that I wanted to get matching covers. So I bought A Court of Thorns and Roses, and as I'm filming this, I'm currently waiting for A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin to arrive with the new jackets. So I did really kind of, I was debating not spending all that money just to get books that I already own in paperback, but I really wanted to get the hardback new look jackets, even though they're not my favorite. But I thought, you know what, if there's going to be future books coming out with this style of design, I need to get my collection, you know, checked out, you know? So I also bought A Court of Thorns and Roses with the new jacket design, which is perfect timing really, because I do think I need to reread the series. Like, reading A Court of Silver Flames has made me realise how much I love this series. Okay, so the next book I bought is one I definitely caved under the pressure, because everyone around me is obsessed with this series, and I read the first book and I was like, I'm not sure about it. But I decided to invest and to buy A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the second book in the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is like fantasy romance. And honestly, I didn't love the first book, but everyone has basically said to me the second book is so good, like the second book is better. So I really do hope that's the case, because I've bought it now and it is a chunky old book. Like, this is a big book. I do love the covers though. I think the covers are just like stunning. So I hope to get around to reading this one very, very soon. I will let you know my thoughts. If you have read A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Please try to convince me to read this book, because I'm not 100% sure if I want to just yet, but I feel like I need to, just to get on board with the hype, you know? Okay, so the next two books are also connected. The first one I bought was Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is book one in the Last Hours series, which is set in Edwardian London. So it's basically a continuation of the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare, all part of the Shadowhunter universe. I knew I wanted to read this series for a while. This basically features the children of the characters from the Infernal Devices books, which, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know how much I adore those books. I talk about it quite a lot. I adore the Infernal Devices, so I kind of knew I had to get on the Last Hours. Like, I did have to buy Chain of Gold. Now that I'm caught up with the Shadowhunters books, in terms of I've just finished the Dark Artificers series, I now feel confident that I can read Chain of Gold, and Chain of Iron has just come out, so of course I had to buy Chain of Iron as well. I got the exclusive Waterstones edition. How stunning is this? Guys, I just am a sucker for an exclusive edition, as I'm sure everyone is, but I knew I had to get the exclusive edition. I love the exclusive editions of Cassandra Clare. I've got all the Dark Artificers Waterstones ones with all their foil, so I just knew I had to get Chain of Iron as well. Not gonna lie, I am a bit gutted I missed out with Chain of Gold, but they will still look really pretty next to each other, so that's all that matters. I do hope to get around to reading this one very, very soon. I have a lot of books to read, basically. That's what I'm realising as I'm surrounded by books, but these are high up my list to read very, very soon. So the next book was kindly gifted to me by Orion Books, and it is A Proof of Careless by Kirsty Capes. So a little bit of a disclaimer, but I actually work with Kirsty and she is amazing, and I'm so excited that she has a book coming out, and this book is getting hype everywhere. So you've heard it here. Definitely keep an eye out for this book when it comes out in May. This book is basically about a girl who was brought up in care, and she finds out that she's pregnant. This is supposed to be really, really funny and touching and lovely, and basically Beth, our main character, obviously finds out she's pregnant and doesn't know who to turn to. She knows she doesn't want to tell her social worker or her foster mother, so she is kind of in this situation where she has this big secret and doesn't know who to tell. And honestly, this just sounds like an emotional but brilliant novel, and I think one that's really important, because I haven't read any novels that feature main characters who've been brought up in care, so I think this is a really important book as well. So Well done, Kirsty. Super proud of you. This is amazing. And I'm so excited to read Careless. And you should all pick it up on the 13th of May. Okay, so we're very close to the end now, but the next book was kindly sent to me from Pan Macmillan, and this is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. So this is described as Mulan meets the Song of Achilles in a queer reimagining of the Ming Dynasty. Like, this just sounds like my perfect book. This sounds like everything I would like in a book. Also, comparing Mulan and the Song of Achilles, both of which are my favourite stories ever. I love the Song of Achilles. I talk about it all the time on this channel, and I don't think I've talked about Mulan as much, but that is one of my favourite Disney movies of all time. This is publishing on the 22nd of July, so this feels like it's a long way away, but I'm really excited to read this one soon and let you guys know my thoughts about it. It just sounds awesome. The fact that it's also a queer story as well, I'm really excited about, and I'm really keen to read more like queer fantasy, so this just sounds epic and I am buzzing about this book. Okay, so I feel like I'm doing this in a weird order, but I basically got this book for Christmas. That's how long it's been since I've done a book haul. So the book that I'm hauling next is this gorgeous edition of Pride and Prejudice. This is the Penguin Clothbound Classics edition, and it is honestly one of the most beautiful books I've seen in a while. It is of course by Jane Austen, my all-time favourite author, and I'm really trying to expand my Clothbound Classics collection just because they look so aesthetic on your bookshelves, and I hadn't got Pride and Prejudice yet, so I knew that I wanted to get this book for Christmas, and ta-da! So I'm excited to add this one to my collection, and I do think I'm due a reread of Pride and Prejudice. So finally, we have come to the end of this gigantic book haul. I have 3 books to haul, and they're all by Robin Hobb. So the first one is Assassin's Apprentice, and then Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest. So this is the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. Basically one of the most hyped fantasy series ever. I've heard nothing but great things about all of these books. So this book is basically about the bastard son of the king, and Fitz is basically outcast because the king has basically brought shame by fathering this bastard child. So Fitz, as part of the Farseer family, has magic, and he is cast to the stables to survive. Basically, he is not welcome at court, so he is cast to the stables where he is trained to be an assassin. So he has this kind of like incredible gift of being able to be an assassin, but also possesses magic. And he basically needs to survive. There are a lot of people after him, but he might end up saving the kingdom. Of course, he has royal blood. So I'm guessing that is what the whole series is about, and I'm guessing the stakes will be very high by the end of this book. This is the shortest book in the series, and as you can see, they get a lot chunkier. So I don't know if I'm ready to start this series yet, but I'm really hoping to start it very soon, as I've just heard wonderful things about this whole series. So do let me know if you've read the Farseer trilogy, what you thought about it. So guys, that is the end of this bumper book haul. There are over 20 books here, and honestly right now I am exhausted talking about all these books. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do make sure you're subscribed, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to show your support. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.